Good Saturday morning. Just checking a few things. And getting set up. My flag keeps moving. I wonder. It's like something's moving the flag. I'll tell you one thing. It's been that since the beginning. Rumble is always last. They've never ever dealt with that. They lag so back. What's up, Moses and Will? There's Rumble. All right. Set. You guys are up. Well, not Moses. Will, you're up early. You're always up early. I love cranberry juice. So allegedly, Oman and Iran has reached a deal to open the Strait of Hormuz. That's the first thing I seen this morning. And basically that's it. Allegedly, they have reached an agreement to open the strait. Whatever that means. Good morning, Marianne. It says here, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai, whatever his name is, says Iran and Oman have reached an agreement on a new shipping traffic plan for the Strait of Hormuz. He said negotiations have progressed positively despite what he described as U.S. obstruction, with the plan developed through coordination between Iran's foreign, defense, security, and environmental authorities. So they're reporting that they've reached an agreement. Moses, you're just trying to get on my good side. So that's all I see. That's it. As of this morning. It's very quiet. And I honestly don't think anything's going to happen for a while. One carrier is going to be sent home, the other one is on the way. While all that is going on, you're not seeing any real action going on. There's no way. So give it at least 2 weeks. They're not going to do anything in the middle of that. That's all it says, Sean, that Iran, that negotiation, the deal that they were working together to open the strait is now done. That's what I read this morning. That the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman said that they've reached an agreement to open the strait, the two of them. Whatever that means. So that's all I see. Other than that, I am not seeing anything. Since yesterday on Truth Social. I mean, it's quiet. It's 10 a.m. here, but it's the afternoon there. Late afternoon. Yeah, see? Iran International has it. 24 minutes ago. Iran and Oman have agreed on a safe route for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz over the past 3 weeks of talks. He said discussions were continued on other issues, but the arrangement for safe shipping was separate. He added that the full security in the strait could not be restored while U.S. maritime sanctions, military movements, and a naval blockade remain in place. So they're saying they've agreed to it. Doesn't mean it's open because of that. The U.S. blockade, their movements with the carriers and whatever else they're doing. This is what they're saying. So in other words, Iran is saying the strait is not open until the U.S. removes their blockade, pulls back their troops, that kind of deal. So we're stuck in ground zero for God knows how long. This is gonna take some time. This is gonna take time. And what are we, August 15th? What did I say? Delay. This is going on till after the midterms. I'm telling you. It's going on till after the midterms because the Republicans are in dire mind frame about what's going on for the elections. Because they definitely probably are going, I don't want to say definitely because nothing's definite. Most likely lose the House. Slight chance the Senate. But they're probably going to lose the House. So anything that happens, they want to try to minimize the political theater here in the United States when it comes to the economy, anything related to this war, whatever. So I don't see anything happening. They're going to just continue this economic fury pressure, hoping that Iran collapses. Draw it out till the midterms. Keep prices manipulated so it doesn't affect the economy that much. No, they're not going to. He's not going to. But I said, and it's funny because I said this like a month ago. And I'm seeing it coming in on accounts that Iran might try to play some kind of a game right before the midterms to make it hard on the president. I said that over a month ago. It's like they're just catching on. They're just realizing what's going on right now, what could happen. Really? You're just figuring it out? Again, they use it for biased reasons. I use it for objectivity because I can see it. I can just predict it. It's not rocket science. You could see it coming. It's not difficult to see it. Okay, they're just sharing.
Today,
Alexa, stop! They're sharing the same thing about the Iran agreement with Oman. I wonder what that's about. Yeah, they even have a video, but we wouldn't understand it. His announcement that they've agreed. A what?
Well, it's a beautiful Saturday morning.
Alexa, stop. Yeah, we wouldn't understand it anyway. They have him making the statement, the foreign minister, about the deal with Oman. So that doesn't even make sense to play. And that's it right now. I want to see what Shin is saying. Remember, the Lincoln is leaving, the Washington is coming. So during that transition, you do not expect anything to go on. Not until that is resolved. So nothing new from Shin for 16 hours. That means it was quiet last night. Because Shin hasn't posted in 16 hours. Trump said that he's going to own the strait. He did that. He was even laughing when he said it. He was just being... Now, I will say this. Hold on. I got motion somewhere. Side of house. He's got to figure out a way to resolve this. It's now back to, there was talk that Admiral Cooper wants to hit infrastructure, that he regarded that message to the president. He wants to do economic fury, keep that going, because it's putting an enormous amount of pressure on the regime economically. So I really don't know which way this goes. And I think that if pressure is allegedly applied to the regime, they're not getting paid, blah, 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 blah. Would they get desperate and do a preemptive strike to someone? If they get desperate, or will Israel see that they're doing something and decide to attack Iran unilaterally, preemptively, because they are noticing some movement of some kind? Anything can trigger anything. So we just gotta wait and see. Again, this is a wait and see. Like we say every day, it's wait and see. What else can you do? I don't know why Trump just doesn't go hard before they reload more. Again, they're going to exchange the carriers. So unless that's done and settled, I don't see anything happening right now, because I think the Lincoln needs to get home ASAP. ASAP. They love their psyops. I mean, I said psyops. They love that. That's their game. Definitely. They do it 24/7. It's all part of it. And the propaganda. It's nonstop. So, again, another weekend of quiet, and I don't expect anything to happen, like I said, until that carrier exchange happens. And once it's in place and ready, battle ready, we're not going to see anything. Yeah, they got to switch out. They got to switch it out. They definitely got to switch it out. So, while that happens, I don't see anything happening. And that could take a couple of weeks. You're talking Labor Day now. You're talking Labor Day. At least. More time. I'm not a big fan of war either. Who is? So somebody like, maybe if you were working and you were the CEO of some military contracting, you're seeing the money. I mean, what is war? War is the worst. But damn, I love the drama. I look forward to the days when we have action. Well, I think a lot of people want to see some type of action, but it's a lot of people that are here with us now, or in the past or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a fan of polls, but I would like to see what the basic sentiment would be in our country. Forget about the other countries. For real. Because what matters is what we do. I would like to know what Americans think about this war. You know what I mean? A lot of us support to see, like me, from the beginning, it really was about regime change and the people of Iran and changing the geopolitical structure in the region. It could have been a game changer, historic, beyond, potentially. Could have. I don't even know if it will ever end up that way, how it's going to happen. Are the people of Iran eventually going to rise up and just take to the streets and do it themselves? I don't know. It's been, grueling. 7 months? Going on the 8th month that this all started? Late December? In Iran? So, I'll be honest, I don't know. I can't even envision what's going to happen here. Is the region going to be the same? That's another question. Do you think, and we can't guess, we don't know what the end game is. We just don't. But currently, is the region better, the same, or worse than it was? You have to ask yourself that question. And the immediate response to many Americans, they're not looking at this like everything else. They watch their medias, whatever they watch, whether it's Fox or CNN. They watch that, they're glued to it. They're told whatever is being said on those platforms. A lot of us have been following this day to day to day, like I said, for months. We know we've been following it. We know the details going back and forth. Again, it's all speculation, but it comes out like today about the Iran-Oman agreement, allegedly. The foreign minister announced it. How many Americans do you think know about those details? Or will know about those details? Or know what the whole war is about? In like specific different details. And all they think about is, oh, the war is why we're paying more for gas. You know, that's how they make the connection to the war. Otherwise, the war would be ignored. They wouldn't pay no mind. It got their attention because when prices started going up at the pumps, then they say, well, what's causing the price of gas to go up? Oh, it's the war in Iran. And it's as simple thinking as that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. People put things in simple terms. And that's what they're thinking right now. They want to pay less. Because not only that, if it costs more for us at the pump, it costs more for diesel, it costs for transportation, for goods, everything goes up. How much it goes up depending on what product it is and where it is locally or how far it's traveling, but things go up. And that's what people are looking at. And I bet you because of that, people are frustrated, whatever, that this war should stop. Not knowing the consequences of saying that and the ramifications if you just walk away now. See, they don't know that. They just want us to say, okay, end the war, let's go, bye, It's not that easy. There are consequences. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot involved here. We just can't walk away now. Could we? Let me see. This war is really the only thing hurting Trump's poll numbers. Yeah, because it hurts his poll numbers because of the economy. The economy's always the number one issue. Going into a midterms or an election, a lot of people crossed the aisle, and I know that for a fact, to vote for him in 2024. His promises on lowering prices on day one. Remember all those images of him with cereals and everything else? That's coming back to haunt him now. They're going to use that shit against him. All that. It's political. It's political theater. But it's not helping him. It's not necessarily helping him. It really doesn't matter, despite what you might think about running a third term. But it's the Republicans that are trying to run for these local districts. They're the ones that are going to struggle. And the money's there. But the money's not going to buy the people's sentiment and how they feel and what they're thinking right now. It's not going to work. But people think that doesn't happen. If you look historically, how many times it flips after a president is elected, no matter what party. During the midterms, there's a flip. Now, it backfired a couple of years ago. I think it was during Obama. I forgot which one it was. But usually, in the next midterm after the president is elected, it flips. That's historical. That's not even, so it's not unusual that it happens, because it's not. It's actually the norm. But you're right. Because of that war and how that war directly ties to the economy with the gas and this and that, that's what people are thinking. You know what I mean? So, just the war. They're not against the war because they're against the war, what's going on. They're against it because it's causing more prices to go up for them. So, but they don't know the details, the specifics. And they can criticize whatever's going on during this war. I do it all the time. That's one thing when you know what the hell's been going on, but they don't know those details. They're just looking at it like, when they, like I said, when they go to the gas pump or anything else, it's like me with the oil deliveries, whatever it is. It's hurting them in their pockets. And that's the only reaction they're going to take to when they go vote, that frustration. So that's why I go back to what I've been saying for over a month, that this is all about controlling the economy, bringing the prices down, so it's not as hard for the Republicans that are running to get reelected or to be elected, because the economy is going to be at the front and center by the Democrats. You know that. Affordability, all that stuff. So I think nothing happens. Economic fury stays in place. You're not going to see much military activity, despite the carriers being switched or whatever, till the midterms. After the midterms, he might unleash unholy hell on Iran. That's my prediction. You got to think about it. Now the carriers are getting switched. That's going to take time. Say we get into September. It's 2 months before the midterms. It's been almost 5 months by that time that the original ceasefire was put in place in April. You think they can't wait 2 more months? Keep that applied pressure? That's the logic I see. Then, like I said, the one thing that could throw a wrench in that is Iran may do something cray-cray, knowing they don't want to make the president's life easy, and do things to try to disrupt the political process here in the United States by acting out and causing prices to go back up in some incident. Do you understand? I could see Iran playing that game while things are at a quiet level. So, again, that's my take on it right now. I may be completely wrong, but I think that's probably what's going on right now. Trump doesn't want to hit hard. What? Trump doesn't want to hit hard is he doesn't want to kill the Iranian people who are fighting for freedom. Obviously that. Definitely not. I agree, Marianne. If we did have the damn NAFTA deal with Clinton, we wouldn't be importing this junk. Again, I'm not the one who plays the blame game, because a lot of people could be held accountable for everything that happened in the past. The blame deflection game, blame this one, blame that one, blame this one, blame that one. This is how we got here. I get all that. But what do we do from here on out? It's like, this is a serious time, how this ends up moving forward. So, I mean, that goes without saying. Blame this one, blame that, blame this, blame this. But we're here. We got to deal with the here now. And I'm really curious to see what the end game is going to be eventually out of this one. But I get it. I bet if they made another Panama Canal out there to bypass the future threat of one choke point I'd be okay with that as far as it goes. But how about the Iranian people? Well, the administration said this is not a. Marco Rubio said this a few weeks ago. This is not about regime change. It's about the regime changing their ways. Now they could be saying that in public and have a totally different perspective behind the scenes. You know, Israel wants regime change. They're not even hiding that fact. They want it. They want regime change. Yes, and I heard that some people were saying, oh, they could target the pipes. I heard a lot of these pipelines are going to be done underground. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I remember when Iran made their citizens circle a power plant. Yes, I remember that. When they put them all around the perimeter. That was months ago. Trump won't put boots on the ground. I don't think he would either, because God forbid. I don't know. Good morning, Brother Kyler. What's up, Ghost? I didn't have enough coffee yet and read Mamu's comment too fast. Oh my God. Yeah, and that's the thing. When you blow up a power plant, what are the ramifications of blowing up a power plant? What about a nuclear power plant? My father said that if they want to bend the knees, they have to target the power plants, bridges, etc. until everything else is, then everything else replaceable. See, that's the thing that a lot of us don't understand here in the United States. There are many Iranians that want the regime to fall, that are willing to deal with no power. Look what their living conditions are currently. How much worse can it get by taking out their electricity? I would like to do a poll of that. If the United States were to hit your power plants and bridges, would your sentiment change about America? Would you support America's actions or not? I'd be curious to see what those answers would be. I'll bet you the majority says do it, please, as long as you get rid of the regime. Or helps us, let me rephrase that. Helps us take back our country. That would be an interesting. What's up, Billy Bob? That's an interesting thing I would want to ask. And that's for sure. That's what a lot of countries are worried about. The immigration crisis. Yep. I've heard that one. So, and not necessarily tens of millions will die. Not if you're just hitting electrical power sources. I mean, if you're talking about some other scenario, but if you hit their power plants and shut their power down and you cripple their infrastructure, it's not going to kill tens of millions. Not more than already what Iran is causing pain and death and everything else to their own citizens. Especially, they're not even getting the medical care that they need, let alone food, water, and everything else. These people are suffering tremendously right now. Now, if you hit a nuclear power plant or you start taking stuff like that out, then that's different. But again, I would like to ask Iranians, not what they think about this. How would that be apocalyptic by hitting the power plant in Tehran? How? Ghost. Explain that to me. Explain how it's more apocalyptic than it already is. shortage of water, food, medical supplies, everything else. Electricity? How is that more apocalyptic than it already is? By the end of the day, Israel will handle business. Israel hit them so hard. Oh my God, Greta shows up. Oh my God. Again, nuclear is one thing. There is other ways to take out power plants without hitting certain structures. You're decapitating the power supply, not necessarily destroying the infrastructure in other ways. It can get worse. You know how it'll get worse? If the regime stays in power and those people have to deal with that for God knows how long. That's how it gets worse. Sometimes things have to get tremendously bad in order for it to get good. I mean, like I said, I would like to ask the Iranians. In chat. Sean, what do you think? Sean, you have family, your father. What do you think? Do you think the majority of Iranians would be against the United States taking out bridges and infrastructure like the power, electricity supply, as long as it gave the opportunity? That's the key word there, because the regime cannot stay. If the regime stays and they hit power plants, then forget it. That changes the equation. If you're going to do all that, you got to take out the regime. You can't go half-ass. In my opinion, you're not just doing that to bring them to the freaking table. You're doing that as part of getting rid of the regime. You know what I mean? That would be, you're just making the people suffer. You're not making the regime suffer. If you're not going after the regime and the regime stays intact after you did all that damage, who does it hurt? The people. If you're going to do that, you better have more planned. You better take out that regime. If you're going to hit plants and blacken out the country, put it back to the Stone Age, whatever he says, you better take out that regime so that they're gone. Then it's time to rebuild Iran and let the people have an opportunity to build back their country, or give the people on the ground in Iran a chance to take back their country. But you just aren't going to just indiscriminately go after power plants and bring them to a fucking table for negotiations. That is a war crime. That's going on. You're attacking civilian infrastructure just to bring the regime, the government, to the table to talk? That ain't gonna fly. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's not gonna fly. According to Tusi, do whatever it takes to get the IRGC out of power. Well, and he's Persian, and he probably is. He's probably that's a probably similar thought to other Persians. That says it right there, probably. But I can't say one person's opinion is everyone's opinion, because it's not. But I wouldn't be surprised if many Iranians feel the same way that Tusi feels. You only need 10 to 25% of population to take out the government. Well, it's one thing to say you have a certain percentage of people take out the government, but it's also, if they're not armed and they're going to get slaughtered again on the streets by the IRGC, the Basij security forces, police forces, etc., they have no chance. Whether it's 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, doesn't matter. They'll slaughter them. They even stated that they will kill their own people if they were going down. This is what we're dealing with. You cannot ask the Iranian people to take to the streets unless they are capable and able to take on all those forces. Because it's suicide. You're asking them to commit suicide. And these people want to go out there and fight for their freedom. But you're not going to just say, go out there, do it. They're all going to die. think the last numbers I saw was 52,000 Iranian citizens unalived by Gov. Yeah, that's what the president states. I think the numbers are higher than that. And it's not just that. And we don't. You have to say unalived. I'm not on TikTok. Let's just say 52,000 dead. How many people were injured, maimed, wounded? How many people have been arrested, imprisoned, worse? How many people did this truly affect in Iran? I don't know. Well, that's, again, Thomas. Trump's only goal to date is to bring Iran to the table. At the beginning, it sounded more like demands when it was the 4 to 6 week talk. These are our demands. They have to agree to this. Then, after the Persian Gulf situation flipped on its side with the Strait of Hormuz, then it became about a deal. That's what changed. Now it's all about getting a deal. Because a lot of people within the administration think the only way to resolve this is through some type of diplomatic solution. Dealing with people that are irrational, you're not going to get that. And the last person they're ever going to want to make a deal with is President Trump. Obviously. So you honestly think Iran, during his administration, will ever reach a deal with him? Them? Never. They'd rather die. I mean, be realistic. They want him dead. Look what happened in Turkey. They want him dead. You think they're going to try to negotiate with him? How naive can people be? I mean, really, how naive? It's not plausible. It's not possible. They're looking at it like this. He wants a way out. We're not going to make it easy for him. We're going to try to make his life a living hell. I mean, come on. Rationally, objectively looking at this. Yep. If Iran knows they're going to lose the war, they stated the remaining missiles will be used on the citizens. They did. All the people that supported. They're going to try to take everybody. I've been saying that. They're going to take everybody down with them. As much chaos and destruction. They're going to try to do as much damage. If they're going down, they're taking others with them. It's that simple. Or they'll try to take everybody else down with them. Especially Israel. Exactly, the Iranians want revenge. Do people not realize they raised the red flag of revenge after the supreme leader died? They want revenge. They want blood. This is a fucking jihadist holy war to them on steroids. Do people not realize that? People think you can negotiate with this? Soleimani was one thing. You took out the supreme leader. You think that just goes sideways? What would happen if our president, well, how would we feel if our president was, God forbid? You know how many Americans would want fucking revenge? I mean, really? Let's see, the Iranians, yep. Yes, Moses, you know. And a lot of you should know this. The Iranians want revenge. The flag of revenge is still up. They want revenge. It's irrelevant how the West thinks. The West doesn't understand that the flag of revenge is still up. I get that. That's what I'm trying to say. This is all about blood. They want blood. They want revenge. This is more than just negotiations. And who you're negotiating with. Iran won't deal with him, but Trump for some reason thinks he can deal with them. It's the people around the president. I'm telling you, it's the people around the president. Iran, okay, I read that. Yes, Moses, unfortunately, the problem is IGC's fall is is RG's fault isn't evil, just like Pahlavi monarchy, but just how what came after monarchy, what comes after this directly affected by USA, good or bad? That's a great question. That's a great question, Sean. You could have a civil war in Iran. If there's that much unrest. It's weird how Israel has been caught multiple times selling arms to Iran. I've not seen anything like that. I would have to do research on that. I've never researched that. I can't share a YouTube video. I could look at it, but I can't share it because I could share this. There was a dispute between two religious mourning groups and the Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad, Iran. Yeah, I can't show that because there's a guy commenting, but that doesn't surprise me. That's what I said. There could be a civil war. We are just going through the process, the boring part right now, but at the end, I think it will be good, and it's a wrap for them going after the president. They won't survive. The end will be Trump style, but that's everybody want. There's the sentiment has been finish the job. I don't think anybody. There might be a few people that are pro regime, pro whatever, that may disagree. But I think the vast majority are saying finish the job. I don't know. Their little flag only represents 1 to 2 of the population. You're right. Well, I think it's more like 3 to 4 million, maybe 5%. I would have to break down the numbers. I think there's like anywhere from 3 to 4 million people in Iran that support the regime out of 93, but you count adults. If you really try to break down the numbers, how many? I don't think it's that. I think it's maybe 3-4 million. It might be 5. I don't know. 5 out of 90. What's that come down to? Break it down. I'm not trying to do that right now in my head. It's called the Iran-Contra Affair Bill. Oh, but that's not supplying Iran. That was trying to supply Iraq during the Iran-Iraqi war. That was different. You're talking, that was during, what's his face? I can't remember that guy's name that got caught up in that. Oh my God, that was like in the fucking 80s. And then you could say, if that's the case, what about Iran's support to every proxy of resistance in the region? What about that? Why is it okay when people say death to Israel, death to America, or Israelis say death to Iran? Would that change? What happens if you heard that? But it's okay for them to do it. What if Israelis said death to Iran? Oh my God, they're saying death to Iran. But it's okay when, for decades, look what the Houthis, where do you think the Houthis get everything from? Iran. Look what's going on in Saudi Arabia. What about that? Who's sending arms to where? Iran is sending arms throughout the whole freaking region to their axis of resistance. It's insane. What was his name? I can't think of his name. It's at the tip of my tongue. I could see him in my head. Jesus Christ, you guys know who that was. During Iran-Contra. I could see him in my head. I just can't put the name to it. Yeah, that small percentage all has access to guns and weapons. The West thinks it could achieve peace with Islam, Iran, but the East here, they talk about force and the name of God, and that's what Islam. See, that's what I don't. They deem all this talk as weakness. You're right about that mentality, Moses. They deem the president as weak. He says one thing, says another thing, says another. They look at that as weakness. I mean, that could be a fatal mistake, but that's how they look at it. Weakness. They will eventually try to take revenge in any way that to achieve their goal, one way or another. Will it succeed? I think so, because they are very smart people. But I could also be wrong. All of it, I could be wrong on everything I'm saying, because it's so cray-cray. There's been like 5 scandals throughout the 80s and 90s of Israel supplying their mortal enemies with arms. And how is that funny when Iran has been doing it for decades? Ghost. I'm just saying, how is that? So we're going to pick on Israel for maybe some things they've done, but what about Iran? And I don't think either is funny. I remember what happened with Beirut in Lebanon with our troops. Who was responsible for that? Iran. All around the world. Terrorism. Embassies. Hotels. Innocent civilians. Their proxies causing chaos everywhere. Who's the bigger demon here? They're evil. Plain and simple. Evil. Their mission is to take over the world. Islam to take over. Sharia law. That's what this guy wants to do in Iran. Really? This is crazy shit. Israel was bombing Baghdad at some point because Iraq bombed Tehran. Yes. It's more complicated than that. It is. It's complicated. It's crazy. You're right, Sean. It's like they're all crazy and you can't pick them. I agree with that. It's crazy. You're right, Ghost. It's just fucking crazy. But it really comes down to a simple thing. I hate to say it. When the state of Israel was created, the Arab country said, what the fuck? Who made this decision? We didn't. How come they got that territory? Who made that happen? How is that all of a sudden now their country? We don't recognize that. That's where it started. That's where it started. And since then, a lot of them still don't recognize the state of Israel. Some have relations with Israel. Some have identified the state of Israel. But Iran has always been in the position they are the occupiers and we will destroy them. So if you think about where this all comes from, and that's hard to change. That's hard to change any of that. To try to establish the only really ways, like that's why the Abraham Accords are considered very important and vital. To have relationships with Israel. But there are other countries that are not feeling that. And Iran will never, ever, under an Islamic regime, ever recognize the state of Israel. They want to destroy it. As long as that exists, nothing changes. This is just going to keep going on. There are more countries that have not recognized Israel than have. This is where it all starts. That's why they call it the axis of resistance. Because they consider them the occupiers. And I hate to say it in those simplistic terms, but that's what it really comes down to. All of this in the region, they won't recognize Israel. Because Iran deliberately spread death to ISIL since 1979, that didn't change. So what changed in Israel? Election? Well, are you not forgetting how Israel has been threatened by Egypt and other countries throughout their existence? Again, it all stems from the creation of Israel and Arab countries in the region and Arabs there in that land, Palestinians. Like, you're taking our land and you're saying we don't own it anymore and now it's theirs? That's the sentiment that goes on there. This is not theirs. This was ours. Why are they taking this over? Think of that mentality. This goes back to the beginning. If you really want to look at it, it goes back to the beginning. Regardless of how the relationship was between, because you remember that you had a democratic type of a system. And they may have had good relations. Would have to go back and look. I was a little kid. I haven't never looked at that part of the relationship between Iran and Israel prior. United States had a great relationship with Iran. I'm sure other Western countries did as well. I mean, I would think Israel had a good relationship. I don't know. Somebody in chat could tell us. It was pretty good. Our soldiers were sent to Israel to get trained from Israel. Look at that. There you go. Alexa, how many countries recognize out of the Arab countries recognize the state of Israel?
6 Arab nations recognize Israel. Egypt, Jordan, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Sudan, and Morocco.
Sudan and Morocco. Alexa, what are the Arab countries that are against Israel as far as being a state? Iran.
Most Arab nations still don't recognize Israel as a state. Those include Algeria, Iraq, Lebanon, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, and Oman.
All the countries that are in the region. Except the UAE.
The Arab world consists of 20
Alexa, stop.
nations.
Except the UAE, Jordan, and Egypt. Well, I mean...
Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco also recognize Israel.
Yeah, but they're not in the immediate region. So look at that. Almost all the Gulf states do not recognize the state of Israel to this day. And it's the big names you hear about right now. Except UAE and Jordan. Egypt's been quiet on things. Jordan's where we have a lot of our bases, no? The Israelis sent military to the UAE with their systems to help defend it. But other than that, look at all the countries that do not recognize the state of Israel. You got to get past that. You've got to mend that somehow, some way. That's why the Abraham Accords were supposed to be vitally important, to establish relations, to build on relations. So it's complicated. It's complicated, that region, historically, since the inception of Israel. That is the bottom line. But that goes way back for thousands of years. Look at what the Turks, the Ottoman Empire. That region has been so volatile for thousands of years, really, if you look at it. Yes, yeah, they're Persians. I wasn't talking. That's true with Iran. When it says Iran, that's Persian. But the other Arab countries, that is correct, Sean. Iran is not Arab. It's Persian. Exactly. I just said that. You guys are saying it in chat now. But, and yes, King Cyrus helping the Jewish people, the temple, it goes back thousands of years. You guys know the history. The bottom line is, though, the political and the geopolitical environment in the Middle East. That's why when the president tried to say that the Saudis agreed to with the United States to work on a nuclear program, power, and then the president the next day says, "Oh, but in order for this to happen, the Saudis have to agree to join the Abraham Accords with Israel." Now, the Saudis' position is that there has to be a two-state solution in Israel. That's been their position. So, and a lot of them in the region as well. It has nothing to do with any deal that the president tries to pull a fast one and say, "Oh, but you have to join the Abraham." We didn't agree to that. You're throwing that in the game now. They're not going to go past that. They're not going to do that. That's something that has to be negotiated along with Israel as far as a two-state solution. And I don't know, Moses, is Israel willing to do a two-state solution at this point? I don't know. I don't know the political environment in Israel, but is that something that has traction or not? And if it doesn't, that means Saudi Arabia is not even touching that Abraham Accords because it's not negotiable. If it's Israel says it's not negotiable, they're not going to do it. And the Saudis are going to say, "Well, we're not joining the Abraham Accords," and neither will the others. It's a fantasy. Exactly, Sean. So it's like I said, this is complicated. And I saw it as one way. I really thought that if the regime fell, and Reza Pahlavi said it, soon thereafter, during the transitional government, he would recognize the state of Israel. That is huge. That evaporates the proxy support. The Houthis, the Hezbollah, all of them. They run out of funding. They run out of supplies. They run out of logistic whatever. This could have been such a huge deal in the region. Tensions would have came down. More dialogue and diplomacy could take place in trying to establish relationships between Israel and the other Gulf countries in the region. This could have totally changed, I think, if it succeeded, changed geopolitically in so many ways everything that goes on in that region. But it didn't happen. Not to this point. Can it happen? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I got involved with this. I truly wanted to see the people of Iran fight and achieve their freedom, whatever that looks like. Now they have to make their own destiny. So it would be even 50-50 to see if they would even succeed. But at least they had the opportunity to get to that point. Do you see that happening now? Do you honestly see us helping to achieve for them? Now, we may be providing arms on the ground, blah, 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 blah. We all hear that. I have not seen it, but we hear about it. Is it enough to help regime change from internally in Iran against the IRGC, Basij, and everything else? I don't, as of right now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That could have been such, my God, that would have changed everything historically moving forward. I don't know if people realize how significant that would have been to create peace in the region. Who is Israel's main adversarial threat? Iran. How? Proxies. If those proxies don't exist, the people of Israel could live in somewhat peace, because there's always going to be extremists out there. But things would have definitely come down if Iran were able to achieve overcoming and overthrowing that regime. Now, getting to that next point on how that government forms in Iran and the turmoil that may exist, because that's not going to be easy either. That transitional period. But I think it would have been much better than where we're at right now. At least the opportunity for change, for peace, for the people of Iran. My God. I don't know. As of right now, I don't see regime change happening. Not in the immediate future. Now, there could come a point where the economy completely... I mean, I was reading something that Shin put, that there was huge protests when the prices of fuel went up in Iran. I forgot what year it was, but there was huge, and it was only threefold. The prices are going up incredibly high. Is it going to be where the people just, that's it? It's going to be chaos on the streets? You can only push people so far before they just take to the streets. Period. Like I said yesterday, I could die and accept this, or I could fight and try to take back my country and be willing to sacrifice my life for it. Or I could just sit here and accept the way things are and die from famine, from some sickness, because their medical care is, forget about it. What would you do? If you didn't have water, food, medicines, people around you are dying or ill or getting sick, are you just going to sit there and accept it? Or are you going to fight for it? I think at some point the Iranian people will fight for it. I don't know. The blockade is working. It is. It's applying incredible economic pressure on the regime. That's all fine and dandy. But the people are the ones that suffer. The regime, yeah, you hear the reports, they're not getting paid, the soldiers and all this shit. We're not dealing with ordinary paid soldiers, by the way. We're dealing with jihadis. Holy revenge war. They will die for the cause. We're not dealing with rational individuals here. Like our government, if we didn't pay our troops, or what are they going to just walk off? Or are they told, when we see what goes on in this country during when the government shuts down, the military is still expected to do their job, though they're not getting paid. You think these people are just going to walk away and give up? They're going to die for the cause. And it's like cornering an animal. The more pressure you put on it, it's all fine and good. But what they do out of desperation, that's what worries me. Because they're not going down without a fight. I could tell you that right now. If you think they're just going to cave in and give up and negotiate with the United States and capitulate, not these people. That's wishful thinking. That strategy is not going to work with the people that we're dealing with right now. Don't think it will. If you are, then you're being naive. Bottom line. You're not dealing with rational people. This is a holy war for them. This is a jihadist movement. They will die for it. And they're going to cause as much death and destruction to anyone else. If they go down, they're taking as many people down with them. So, it's all good. I get it. The economic pressure is definitely working. You think that's going to bring Iran to the table? Do you think that's going to bring Iran to the table? Do you know how they've been preparing for those hardships as well? For decades, they've been preparing for this scenario. You think they're just going to cave in to the president, the person they want dead? Really? Again, this has nothing to do with the Iranian people. This has to do with the regime. They couldn't give a shit about their people. So, maybe it'll work. Maybe. Personally, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. Unless, like I said, the people of Iran themselves, internally, along with the external pressure of the economy that we're doing, internally they say that's it, enough, and they just take to the streets in massive numbers and they just overwhelm the regime and the forces. A lot of those people have family in the regime, in the Iranian army, or in the IRGC. Their family members are there. So would they turn? Are they going to think about their families, or are they going to think about the red flag of revenge and blood? It's a great question. Exactly, Sean. They will die just... But you're Iranian. You know. A lot of Americans look at it like from some kind of a rational point of view. We're not dealing with the rational point. This is not a rational situation. We're dealing with irrational people. They don't think on the same terms like we normally would make that conclusion. Well, you know what? If this was a normal situation in another country, that country would collapse and they would eventually come to the table to negotiate because they have no choice. This is not that situation when you're dealing with this ideology. This is not your normal case. So is economic pressure alone going to make them capitulate and cave in and give up and go to the table with and meet U.S. demands? I say no way. Don't believe it. Because before that ever happened, they're going to strike preemptively. They're going to unleash unholy hell on as many people as they can, especially Israel. And because they know that rather than surrender, we're going to just take everybody out as much as we can because we know we're done. But we're not going out without a fight. And we're not going down without that fight. They'll meet their goats up in... Well, I don't want to look up. That's what it comes down to, these people. You think the IRGC? Now, there could be some people that desert. There could be some infighting that goes on, all that. But are we really putting all our chips on the table and saying economic pressure alone is going to cause the regime to come to the table? That was tried. The so-called moderates tried, and they got totally diminished by the hardliners who have been placed, even more hardliners have been placed at the top levels now. It's clear who won that battle within the regime. So you believe this? I don't know. Like I said, the part I wonder is Islamic are very loyal. Will the loyal IRGC supporters give in or stand with their government? Not. That's exactly the key there, Beam. That's the key. Not me shaming. No, it's not about shaming. It's like you said. It's a loyalty issue. They'll die for that. But how many are willing to sacrifice themselves for that? Legitimate question, Bean. Absolutely. Luke says, something is cooking. I have never seen so much rail freight traffic in the past few days. I am near the major CSX. It's funny because I saw that when I was in Utah, and I saw all the military equipment being sent out when I was there on the rails. I was like, holy shit, something big is coming. That's crazy you say that. So they're just having a conversation between themselves. Again, as far as, because Sepp helped me with that. He was the one who sent me the whole plan for the transitional phase, allegedly. I think it would be similarly set up to what the UK has as a parliament. I think that would be. And I don't know if he would be still considered a monarch in the symbolic sense, but not as the ruler of the country. It would be a parliament system, and he would be the figurehead as a symbolic monarchy, keeping that going. I don't think he would be like a dictator in Iran. That's just my opinion. I see it more, like you said, a parliamentary system. Again, that's going to be tricky. That transaction is going to be very fragile. The point is, one, the opportunity to even get to that point for the Iranian people as a whole, one. Two, is it going to make it better for the Iranian people as a whole than it is currently? Forget about Reza Pahlavi times, current times. You think the vast majority of Iranians would say, oh, I suffered under Reza Pahlavi more than I have now? How many were alive, generational? That's a whole different issue itself. People could criticize and find an opinion on anything. It's almost like in Star Trek, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. You're always going to have a balance. There's always going to be a percentage on the scale on this side and this side. It's what outweighs. What are the pros and cons? There's always going to be pros and cons in everything. But if you're going to focus on the cons and not the pros, you're not being objective. You have to look at the whole picture. Again, can't predict the future, but I bet you there's a lot of people in Iran that want change. That's like happens here when we vote. We vote for change, not the status quo. That's what freedom is, despite what you might hear about all the other stuff associated with it. But that's what a democracy is. Okay, that's old news. I don't know why I get Burger King sending me promotionals. I don't even eat there. That's because I got the app. Ill. It's disturbing, but part of its loyalty, and the other part is that they know what they have done, and if they don't fight and die now, they would face justice. That's a great point too, Sean. That is an excellent point, because that is an excellent point, actually. They'd rather die than have to face justice of the crimes they did against their own people. That's a great point. It's like Jonestown. The fanatics wanted to die, but a majority of them are just afraid. 10% dedicated Islamists can dominate 9% of the others, therefore must wipe out most. And that's another thing. You just brought up the Geneva Convention. How is Pakistan the mediator still and accepted that? How is the Qataris, they're all part of the region, but as mediators between Iran and the United States, is that balanced? Is that without bias? Really? Really? That is insane. They should have them in Geneva or somewhere else neutral, where you can have neutral mediators bringing parties together instead of those that have a vested interest one way or the other. It's pathetic. Oh my God, Bongwater, that's funny. As a Star Trek fan, that's funny. I started it with the needs of the. I started it, right? Let's not forget Islamics are religious zealots. To a majority, death is an honor. That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's why I said this is different. That's why I said this is different. Economic pressure is only causing so much pain to the people of Iran. And yes, I'm sure the regime are feeling it too, but it's the people who suffer. My God, because you think they don't give a shit about the people. They, like I said, this is about their survival, the regime's survival. And I would like to know if food or other goods are being transported through Pakistan or via Turkey or China or Russia or any other things that are going on that we're not aware of. We make it sound, but again, just enough to keep the regime going. Because their interest is for us to be into a drawn-out war with Iran. Even if China is going through their thing or Russia's going through their thing, they still say, you know what, despite what we're going through, we want the United States to go through it too. So, again, this is complicated. It's not, there's a lot going on. All right, Telegram's Fahid just put something out. What did he put? So Sepa, oh my God, what was that name? Sepa, and I can't read the last name, Amirzadeh, one of the detainees from the nationwide protests in Iran in January 2024, in Isfahan, has been sentenced to death by the Revolutionary Court on charges of enmity against God. His case is currently under review by the Supreme Court. According to the Human Rights News Agency, he was arrested by security forces at his home in Isfahan on January 23, 2024. And after undergoing interrogation, he was transferred to the Dastgard prison in Isfahan, where he remains incarcerated. Further details regarding the specific charges of enmity against God, the case documents, the interrogation process, and the proceedings of the court hearings have not been released. He was born in 1994 and originally from Ramhormuz in the Khuzestan province, is a music teacher and a musician residing in Isfahan. Vahid just put that out. What's this? Iran urges the International Red Cross to intervene and secure the release of 3 Iranian pilots who have been held captive by Qatari forces for the past 6 months after air defenses struck their Su-24 jets during the retaliatory mission. retaliatory mission. This is today. The head of the Iranian government on Saturday described the recent price increases and their impact on the livelihoods of citizens as natural, attributing them to the economic siege and U.S. oil sanctions. The president, in a meeting with the Secretary General of political parties and activists, said, quote, "Previously, imported goods were brought in by ship. Now they go through many stages before entering the country, which increases the overall cost of the goods." He added, "Our income has also decreased. We used to sell oil, but now we can't." There's more. The continued closure of the Strait of Hormuz, in addition to increasing energy prices worldwide, has put pressure on the Iranian economy and exacerbated inflation. Reports indicate that the implementation of the maritime blockade has significantly reduced Iran's oil exports through Karg Island. Approximately 90% of Iran's oil exports are carried out through this island. And that was Vahid that put that out. So they're trying to say everything's normal. It's because of this, it's because of that. And I said that they're finding other ways to get the food in, because there was usually a lot of the goods were coming through ships. You still got the Caspian Sea. Nobody's touched that. You still got land bridges, rail, trucks coming in. But still, that oil. What is this? Yemen. But nothing, just statements. I don't know. Who is this? The Occupation Army announced the assassination of a commander in the Radwan brigades. So I guess the Israelis took out somebody. Vahid is putting another post. Yeah, they're talking about the fighter pilots. 3 IDF soldiers seriously wounded in overnight Hezbollah attack. Says Army responded with strikes on terror headquarters. So it looks like something definitely went down with that. They're saying it here. Hezbollah commander was killed in an Israeli strike in the town of Ansar. According to Lebanese media, the strike also killed several people, including women and children. IDF said they targeted a central Hezbollah command center in Ansar in response to an attack by the terror group on troops. And they are saying that they took out that commander for Hezbollah. His family was also present. At the time of the strike, Hassan's family was also present with him inside the military headquarters and, according to the claim, was harmed in the strike. Should be emphasized that the family members were not the target of the strike. The strike was specifically directed at Hassan, who was a lawful target under international law. The terrorists used his family as human shields, hiding alongside them inside the military headquarters. So that's what someone just posted. And the IDF released a statement about that individual. They're claiming they took out a commander, Hezbollah commander. Okay. He was joking when he said that. He was even laughing about the Strait. He was laughing. He was even that was a joke. When he said that, I'm sure a lot of people are taking it literal. So that was just him. That's kind of like his way of trolling Iran. After hijab became mandatory, a lot of women with faith also marched with women who protested against it and were called Satan's whores. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess, it is those conditions on the ground there. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, oh my God, Sean, that's wild. Let me see if Shin is putting anything up. Nope. Shin is quiet. Telegram is a little busy. Wow, he hasn't posted in a while. I saw a video of the Houthi soldier, of a Houthi soldier was complaining he was told there would be Saudis and Americans to shoot. He said all he sees is Yemen. It was funny. He kept saying it. It was funny. He kept saying, I have been wrong. Oh, so in Yemen, there are Saudi-backed mercenaries. In Yemen. Then they're Saudi-backed. But like a resistance force. But it's mercenaries. So I don't think you're going to see Americans there at all. But it's crazy how they said if they wouldn't mind taking out an American. I'll tell you one thing. If I had to, I would not travel to that region whatsoever. As an American, I'm staying far away from that fucking region. That's just me. Remember when someone said, well, we're going to create a place where you can go visit. We're going to have the airlines now flying to Lebanon, to Beirut. Go enjoy the beauty of its country. Are you crazy? I'm going to go to Lebanon on a vacation. Oh, remember that was said about a month ago? Oh, the airlines are not going to. U.S. airlines are going to start flying into Beirut. Go there. It's a beautiful country. Enjoy. Visit. Yeah, right. I ain't going. And hello to Sarah and Rodney. I mean, I read something, and I don't know if it was true, that let's call it the new IRA in Ireland, said there's going to be a civil war here if you don't start dealing with the immigration problem or crisis. I was like, oh shit, look what's going on. And I don't know if that's true, but I had read something like that like a week or so ago. I was like, whoa. Beirut was once known as the Paris of the Middle East. The reason why only 40% of Americans hold passports, each state is basically a different country. You're a Farage supporter that supports Trump. Well, I don't know what happened over there with Starmer. But is this guy, I can't remember his name, Andy, I can't remember his name because I don't follow the UK politics. Is he better, worse than Starmer? I mean, I don't know how much you can get worse, but. And you guys got to wait till what year for the elections in the UK? Jesus. I don't know. He's the same? The guy that replaced him is the same as Starmer? So that ain't much. And look what Bibi said yesterday. And he said it sarcastically, like, if Britain isn't careful, it's going to become the Islamic Republic of Great Britain. And I was saying to myself, okay, I know he's saying that sarcastically, but he's making a point. I wonder what people in the UK feel about that. Or in Great Britain. I think some people might share his view. No? For those that are in the UK right now in chat, Great Britain. I don't know. I think that might actually, a lot of people may say, you know what? He's not so wrong by saying what he just said. There's so many of those Americans in Iran, and it doesn't look terrible. LOL. Looks like hundreds that have been posted in the last year. Well, I'm sure there's still some odd. They might be there for whatever reasons. Business, journalists, God only knows. All I know is I'm not traveling to fucking Iran. I don't care what other people do. I'm not going. They're taking their own risks. That's their decision. All I know is I'm not. With a hell no. Not now. And they also may have dual citizenship, American Iranian. There's more to that. It's not that simple. We even turn old churches into pubs. Wow. How does that happen? I don't think I've ever seen a place. I've seen a club in New York City that was an old church that was turned into a nightclub. Go figure, it's in Manhattan. I've never seen a church become a pub. Not that I could recall. Hi, Bill. A mosque got burnt down in Ireland. I tell you, keep an eye on that situation in Ireland. A lot of people don't have that on the radar. Keep an eye on that. All right, Sean, I'm going to check it. I'm checking the email now. It might be in my spam. I don't see it, Sean. I don't see it yet. It might be taking time. I got it now. I got it. Takes a little time sometimes. So, would you like to describe in chat? Would you like to describe in chat what this picture depicts so people understand what we're looking at before I put it up on the screen? And then I'm gonna go soon because it's low humidity. Today's a good day to mow the properties and go in the pool. Summer's going quick. It's almost over for me. Temperature wise, here, forget it. It's over. Soon. Alright, I got the picture set up. So, oh, now we're talking about football? I like, if we're going to talk about that, but this is the picture that Sean in chat shared to me. It's after the Women Life Freedom Movement from Masa Amini incident. I told Sepp privately, without getting, I would love to go to Iran at some point if things change. I would love to go. I could imagine meeting up with, because he's one of them. I could imagine meeting Sepp and some of the others that we have communication with in Iran, and having, eating food, listening to music, the celebratory atmosphere. I can imagine. That would be incredible. I'd still watch my back, and I know Sepp would make sure we're somewhat safe, like, it's because you can't guarantee that. Can't guarantee that here. But I think Sepp would definitely look out. The Islamic Republic eased on hijab in a lot of cities, and girls started not wearing them, and people were just chilling. Women with hijab started talking with That's interesting how they were doing that. That was like it was nothing, and people saw what the government made a big deal. Nothing. Yeah, but what about the ones that I see like in Tehran wearing all black, and they're older, the majority of them? You think they're gonna start talking to people without it? Because they look like the hardcore followers. I don't see those types talking to anybody without it. They'd probably be screaming and pointing, "Get them!" I'm just saying, and like you said, in many cities, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I could see some more of the extremists never accepting that. Women with hijab started supporting people who whatever they wanted and were stopped by police. During the 2024 war, Iran deported a lot of its Afghan population, and a lot of Iranians stayed at borders to take them in. People started talking back at them. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. What are they called? Fatima Commandos? That's what they call them? Seriously? Is that the nickname for them? Those extreme hijabis in Iran are called Fatima Commando. Maybe I need to write a song, then I'll really be on a fucking list. Oh my God! I gotta have to write that. I won't even dare. Oh, I'm done if I did something like that. Write lyrics. That's the title. Fatima Commandos. Watch out, the lady in black. If you don't abide, she will attack. I could just see what I would do with that. Oh my God. Oh shit. Because majority of people were talking against those Fatima Commandos, so majority of people just talk back at them. So they're allowed to just talk. That's crazy. But like I said, oh, it's fine. It's an inside joke thing. This could be better than Love Tap Set 47. I gotta save this. I gotta save that. I've gotta make a note of this. I've gotta make a note. Fatima Commandos. Save as a title. I might work on this later this afternoon. Sean, this is on you. I'm telling you. If I write this, it's on your ass. You gave me the idea. They don't get upset, but it's not a national emergency for us to call them Fatima Commando. Okay, so I could do it. It's not a big deal. But that might be from between you. What if an American does it? That might be the game changer right there. An American writing a song like that. They might get upset if that were the case. Don't you think? I think so. All right, let's see what's going on Telegram. There's a few new ones. So, Tajikistan's Ministry of Energy and Water Resources, Minister of Transport, Deputy Foreign Minister, and their accompanying delegation met with Iran's Foreign Minister in Tehran. Okay. That's not important. They're repeating the same story. Yeah, it's the same stuff. Uh-oh, what did Amir just put up? Let's see what Amir just put up. Reported from Israel. The Prime Minister's office. This morning, Hezbollah violated the ceasefire in Lebanon by attacking our soldiers in the security zone, which protects Israeli communities just across the border. The Hezbollah attack seriously injured 3 of our soldiers. The IDF responded by striking on a Hezbollah terror headquarters, which ordered the attack. Only later did the IDF learn that Hezbollah deliberately put citizens in that military compound. Hezbollah is willing to do anything, including using its own civilians as human shields to falsely accuse Israel of deliberately targeting civilians, which the IDF clearly did not. There we go with that human shield stuff again. Now, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you, but that's his Prime Minister's office statement. That they're acknowledging that civilians were killed, but that they put them there knowing the risk. I'm definitely going to look at, I'll research it. I'm sure there's places to research it in English. Fatima Commando. I'm sure there's a search available for that. Sean. Maybe not. actually, there is no information on that. Should I ask Alexa? Alexa, what is a Fatima commando?
A commando is an elite
No.
light infantry.
Alexa,
or
stop.
special-
Alexa, what is a Fatima commando?
Fatima commander isn't a standard term, but it likely refers to Kara Fatima Khanum, a 19th century Kurdish chieftain
No.
who led her tribe's warriors
Alexa,
in the
stop.
Crimean War.
You need to get updated. I'm not seeing it as a search. It just has a bunch of people's YouTube and social media accounts. I'm seeing nothing. At all. Copy the term I put in chat. Yeah, because I could get the translation. I see a bunch of accounts again. Instagram all over the place. Telegram, it's not giving me like what is a Fatima commando. Because it would be nice if I had some research while I write my lyrics, kind of a deal. You know what I mean? Is there another name for them? It's just Fatima Commando? Because it's not coming up. Just accounts. Or do this, Sean. I need you to do this for me, please. Send me an email giving me details about this, so I could use that as a reference to write my lyrics. I need something. Do you know what I mean? So write me an email giving me a description of what a Fatima Commando is, and you know, Gitmo, Fatima Zillas. Okay, he put a link. Yeah, but again, these are videos, clips. I can get tons of these. I need to know what a Fatima Commando is, like specifics, so I could write about it. Do you understand? Why they are called Fatima Commandos? Do you know what I mean? I need that. They are called Fatima Commando. Remember the everything pink. They are called Fatima Commandos. Fati Commandos? Kava? Kava, wait, now. Fati Commandos? Now it's Fati Commandos. Hold on. There's more of that. There's a ton. Women from a pro-government unit called the Fati Commandos. Oh, now we're getting a little bit more information on this. They paraded in their pink Jeeps equipped with a mounted... Oh my... That's who they are! That's them! I've seen videos with them. The pink, yes. Holy shit. That's them? Oh my God. Look at them. Oh, we got to put a video. Look at this shit. Oh my God. Holy shit. That's them. Holy. Now. That gives me a little bit more to work on. Oh, but this one barely talks about it. Holy shit. I gotta bookmark this so I could use it as research. Telegraph in the UK. See, now we're talking. They are wicked. They look wicked. They look wicked. Fuck. I gotta bookmark this. This is my research. This will help. Female wing of Iran's repressive paramilitary. Thousands of Iranian women took part in a military parade that streets of Tehran, brandishing pink weapons and equipment. This is like a fucking Fortnite video game kind of shit. What date was this? Oh, that was in April of this year. Jesus Christ. Wow. A pink AK-47. Oh, this is cray-cray. Holy shit. But now I'm on the right path for my research for the lyrics. See, that's what I need. Some context. That was during National Army Day. Wow, that's a very small article. But Sean, send me anything that you can that can help me. Holy shit.
ببینید استفاده ابزاری از زنان در واقع شیوهی بوده که جمهوری اسلامی بارها این رو ازش استفاده کرده. یعنی اون موقعی که زن سرباز لازم داره، ما اینو از زمان جنگ عراق هم دیدیم.
Wow, I didn't know that.
تصاویر خیابون ها تبدیل میشه به زن در نقش مادر شهید.
Oh my, holy shit.
زن فقط در نقش مادر شهید، زن جنگجو، زن
Holy shit.
فضای مدنی جامعه قربانی نگاه انتقام جویانه، جنگ طلب و
And this is why this is what we're dealing with.
تمام تو این تصویر شما یه جوری نقض حقوق و یک جور واداشتن افراد و یک جور استفاده از فضای هیجانی جنگ و یک جور گره زدن مملکت و سرزمین به نظامه.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even want to show this anymore.
تحت تاثیر قرار میده برای اینکه جنگ ویرانی هایی داره
That's
ایجاد
brutal.
میکنه که دیدپذیره. یعنی شما
Too much.
ساختمونی که خراب میشه رو میبینی، بنایی که لطمه میخوره رو.
Too much. What's up, Amy? I know she's yapping. I put the audio on purpose. That's exactly the thing, Thomas. That's why I said that earlier. A lot of Americans think that normal circumstances in an extraordinarily unnormal situation is going to resolve this. They have this thing in their heads that economic pressure, whatever pressure, we're not dealing with normal, rational behaving governmental officials or whatever. This is we're dealing with something completely extreme. The ideology, the radicalization, the jihadi. This is a holy war. We're not dealing with like say we put economic pressure to collapse Cuba over time. That could work. The people may overthrow Raul Castro. Or he would capitulate and give in to the demands or whatever. This is not that kind of situation. Not with the way these people think. That's the problem. We're not dealing with that. They, like I said earlier, they would rather die than surrender. And they'll, like I said, they'll take as many people out with them as they can. If they think they're going to collapse and they're going to fall, they're not going to go and say, okay, Mr. President, we're going to come to the table now and talk to you. We agree. We capitulate. We'll agree to talk to you. And are people that delusional that they believe that? But the economic pressure is going to work. It's going to make the regime collapse, and they're going to come to the table. No, the regime may collapse, but they're not going to give up. They're going to unleash hell before they fall. Unless some miraculous thing happens, there's a coup within Iran, and that changes everything. But other than that, if we have expectations that due to economic pressure that they're going to collapse and come to the table, these people, they're going to come to the table and talk to you? Come on. That's bullshit. Exactly. They are dealing with the cuckoo's nest. Yeah, exactly. They think they're dealing with rational people and they're dealing with a death cult. That's a great way to put it, Thomas. Unless we understand this, that's what we're dealing with. This is not rational. We're dealing with the irrational. It's crazy. And the last thing they want to be seen as weak. Again, we got to remember the flags of revenge are flying. They want blood. They want revenge. I mean, my gosh, how much, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope economic pressure works and makes the regime capitulate and come to the table to negotiate. But we're going to try to negotiate, period, anyway, with these people. You're going to trust them to negotiate with them? At the end of the day, you're going to agree that you could trust them to negotiate with anything you allegedly agree to, which they never will. Iran, at the end of the day, will never sign an agreement with the United States. Not under this current administration. Never, ever, ever, ever. No. They might wait to see if a Democrat gets into office in 2028 and try to negotiate with them. And try to get over as much as they can on it. Oh my God. That's crazy, that link you just shared. Step aside, Fatima. The commando has arrived. If the Nimitz class carriers see this now, I think they'd flee from the sea out of fear and head to dry land. Haderi, the ringleader of the regime's armed ground forces. The enemy can't do a damn thing because our power lies in producing indigenous weaponry. She's got fucking nunchucks. What the fuck is that? Oh my gosh. What's up, Will? What's up, CB? And that's what we're dealing with. A female jihadist ninja turtle. Holy shit. Could you imagine? So yeah, I'm not buying all this. I'm not buying it. Like I said, it's one thing to be hopeful that it might work. I mean, I'd rather be a optimist than a pessimist. Maybe economic pressure will help collapse the regime. Maybe. Let's be hopeful. Let's hope. There's nothing wrong about hoping. Do I think it's something that's practical? No. But I can hope. There's always hope. Once you lose hope, it's over. I can hope that that's the case. Do I see it realistically happening? No. But I can hope. Exactly. It's the greatest for them. The martyred dead. That's what Helmet. That's what people, I keep saying. I don't think they realize that these people will die. Rather die than give up. Die. And like I said, they're going to try to take out as many as people as they can, including their own, if they thought they were about to collapse. They're going to unleash it all. It's over, because they know it's over for them. If it's over for them, it's over for everybody. They're going to try to make it so bad. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll just lay their weapons down and give up. You see that happening? Economic pressure. They're going to lay down their arms. They're going to flee. They're starving. I think they'd rather starve to death. Uh-oh. What? Iran's intelligence ministry warns France that any repeated illegal or interventionist activity by French diplomats in Iran will face a firm response. You're threatening the French? Oh, God. What are they sharing here? Why would they share this picture with the president and Kim Jong Fatty? They made a comment to this. What are they referring to this photo for? Trump, despite the unfriendly appearance in this particular photo, there are many photos where we are smiling, and I and Kim Jong-un are in complete agreement. Did he put something on Truth Social? Why are they bringing this up now? What the fuck is that about? No. Oh, he did. 48 minutes ago, he did. What the What? What is this to do with anything? Is something going on between us and North Korea, and he's trying to spin it as everything's fine with me and Kim Jong Fatty? Why would he just put that? That was 48 minutes ago. I thought they were trolling him. I don't know. I don't know what the angle is there. I'm a little confused. Uh-oh. What's this? Iran struck the Emirati, that was yesterday, oil tanker, Al Watan in the Strait of Hormuz. I believe that was yesterday. Yes, that was the one from yesterday. It takes a day or two for UKMTO to put their stuff up. Good morning, Amy. So this was yesterday. We were talking about this, but it wasn't confirmed. And I checked UKMTO, but then I think it was Diesel or somebody said, Bill, usually takes a day or two for it to come out, and it does. So it came out. And all is quiet now. And as I say, it looks like it will be quiet for at least a couple of weeks while we switch to carriers, exchange, swap them. Lincoln's going home, Washington's coming in. It's going to take time for that to happen. And once they get resettled in, then, but I don't see anything. Though, you would technically have 3 carriers in the region. Just saying. Something to think about. You still have 3. Could they do something before the Lincoln leaves? Back home? One final big time operation, then head home, and then the Washington stays with the Bush. You'll have 3 carriers in the area, in the Arabian Sea. Because that one is not leaving until the other one arrives. That's something to think about. Just saying. There will be 3. Not saying that something's going to happen, but what if they decided that they're going to do something while there's 3? Oh, God. Their press TV just put this out. Trump's demands of compensation is a reactive theatrical gimmick that admits U.S. military and strategic failure and Iran's upper hand in this war and in controlling the Strait of Hormuz. See, they know how valuable the Strait of Hormuz is to them strategically. I've been saying that they're not going to give that leverage away. I was right on that. They're not going to just say, okay, we're going to open it, then they have no cards. They have to control, or the illusion of control. They're not going to give up that leverage. What the fuck is this? Nonsense. Anyway, I think I'm going to bail now. It's already noon. Things got to get done here. So for anybody who's watching, have a great rest of your weekend. Be well, be blessed, be safe. Prayers to all of you and your families and your communities and wherever you are throughout the world. My personal prayers for the President of the United States, our troops, their families, our country, and all of us here. So with that being said, I'm going to take a break, and I may be back later on this afternoon or tonight. So till then, all of you have a great one,